there was a couple of my very close friends that I spent a lot of time with, and they actually, helped me through my life a lot when I first came to Chaska. But he is so successful. He's actually becoming a doctor right now, and doing his medical school and everything. And he had no problem in school at all. He was so good. And me, on the other hand, I'm struggling nonstop, going from school to school, and that's kind of why I was just looking around like, man, is there something I'm missing? Did I not get that class, to teach you how to, to learn? But I mean, it's a very touchy subject. But I mean, that's what I would classify as a succeeder, someone who gets it, someone who knows exactly how to be successful. No matter what anyone said or how much they were like pounding on you to get stuff done. I always thought that there was someone that I could be, something that I can do. I never fed into, if you don't finish this reading work or, you don't write this paper, you're not going to make it. So I kind of was like selective in that aspect. It's like, oh, well, I guess I don't really need to learn that for what I want to do. Or maybe I don't really need to want, it's like that's kind of what I thought of. But to be successful in school, you have to get everything, and you have to get it all and do all your homework and turn it in on time. And kind of like I say in the book, as I look back now, I feel like very foolish that I didn't pay attention and take advantage and treat school like the job it is. You need to go in every day and be there and pay attention and get everything that they're giving you and soak it up so you can, give that back and, your testing and all that kind of stuff. But I just felt like I never got it.
So Charlie, why was it hard for you in the other classes to sit down, do the assignment, pay attention, and why were you more engaged in leadership?
Well, I felt like I never was given my platform, my pedestal, my opportunity to shine in the avenue that I was able to shine. As I sit and talk to you guys right now, this is what I do. I'm able to talk, I'm able to communicate, I'm able to express my feelings at a high level. But if you wanted me to write this stuff down and turn it into you, it would not be anywhere close to the same level. I would probably get an A on speaking and doing this, and I probably would get more like a D+ on my paper that I would turn into you right now. And when I was in leadership class, I was able to do a lot of the things that I was very good at. And when I was in other classes, I didn't really feel like I was good at anything, and everybody told me I wasn't. So then what am I going to continue to do it for? I'd rather do something else that I'm good at and actually be successful at something at some point. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just kind of how I felt. I mean, this just was like very frustrating because it's like, man, I know that I'm not this dumb. I know I'm not stupid. I can sit here and talk to you all day long. And there's other things that I can do as well, And it's just really sad because I'm not alone in this aspect. I'm not the only one. And, there's kids dropping out by the day, because they've been pushed down so much and they've been told they can't do anything. And, they have a lot of qualities they could probably bring to the table, but it was never uncovered in any one of their 16 classes they have to go through throughout a day,
So that disconnect between I know I'm good in some things, but when I sit here, I feel like I'm a failure. I can't do this. I feel like I'm incompetent here, and yet I know I'm a competent person.
Right.
But when I step in over here, I experience this incompetence.
Right.
And so I just want to avoid
absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
Why bother?
And
why
I
start?
conduct myself at a high level too, and I had a bravado and confidence about myself, but I couldn't really prove it in every aspect in the school level. And when you talk about, like she said before, like you said before, Amy, and that there's just there's things you have to learn in school. Tough, you got to learn it, right? I totally agree with that, but at the same point, like I had talked about earlier, when they're teaching certain things that need to be taught, but I'm missing some of the blocks from the previous grade or even before that, and they're forcing this one down my throat that I'm so far behind on, I don't see any way to succeed in that particular aspect, in that case. it just makes it extremely tough, you know. And I get it. I mean, the system is how it is, but it's really tough for you to go backwards and then bring that one student up. I mean, that's really hard when you have thousands of kids in one school. But I mean, when I went to college and they do a placement test and they do, you know, qualifications, and I'm like, oh, I'm far behind on that one, so I'm not going to get in that class. I got to take a couple more before I can get in that one. I feel like that's a much better way to approach it, because if they're not there with you, then what is he doing in there? You know, if I'm not there with them, why am I there? You know? But
it's too big of a gap.
Yeah.
They're too big of a leap to make.
And then in the flip side, you know, the succeeders, I feel like, you know, they had all their blocks and some. I feel like they had the support group and many aspects, checks and balances to make sure that they were successful and not falling behind. And I feel like it goes far beyond just the teachers and just the class and just the school system in general. You know, I look at a succeeder, you know, I consider you guys succeeders. You guys have a doctor before your name. I would say you guys understood how to get school, how to learn, how to educate yourself, how to study, how to sit down and do your homework. You guys got it at a high level and have been rewarded for it. But I feel like there's something somewhere along the way that made sure that you were going to be able to do that. Whether it was on yourself or your parents or people around you, somewhere along the lines, they were making sure that you understood it. Now, I'm not going to place blame on my own mother. She was an only parent, single parent, but I don't think she was there for me in that way because she was already overextended. You know, she didn't have the capabilities or the resources to make sure that I had all the checks and balances I needed in the education realm. She was too busy making sure I had food in my mouth and somewhere to stay. So.
And I just want to say, for me, it's really heartbreaking to hear Charlie say, you're a succeeder and you're a succeeder, when I see Charlie as a succeeder. Because he has gifts he's been recognized for outside of school. And it's just heartbreaking to hear that inside of school, young people have to feel like they're not in that club of succeeding, that it's not even an option. And thank God Charlie had the gifts that he did to pull himself along, and he had some sense I could achieve over here, so he hung on to that.